Well, welcome everyone. Today we are going to be talking about laughter. These are just my natural first screens that we do at the Alzheimer's Society to get everyone settled. So thank you for being here today. We're going to chat about laughter yoga, and you may not know about what laughter yoga is. So we're going to give a little bit of a history on how it came to be, and then I'm going to give you sort of a demonstration. So we'll make this a little interactive, and I have a feeling that there's a possibility that you might think I'm a little crazy, but know that the reason I'm doing what I'm doing is all for our good health. So there is a method to my madness. First, I think what we have to do is start with a little discussion about stress. And because laughter is a great overall stress reliever, it's important that we talk and start here at stress. 95% of stress that we experience in our daily lives is self-generated, right? We actually are not our best friends sometimes. And so I think any chance that we can get to sort of build a stress reliever tool belt, we should. And so we all have things that we may sort of, if our best friend was to come to us and say, you know what, I'm feeling stressed out, we might give them advice and say, well, you should do this. Well, maybe what you'll find after today's presentation is if you laugh just a little bit more, that might be another thing for your tool belt. So let's take a look. Let's look at some facts about stress. They say 75 to 90% of adult visits to primary care physicians are for stress-related problems. That's huge. The most common problems worldwide are a mixture of anxiety and depression. Absenteeism on an average workday is because of stress-related problems. And more heart attacks happen on Monday at 9 a.m. than any other time of the week. That's because we usually have some good times, stress relieving times on the weekend, and sometimes getting back into the grind of things is not always the best thing for us. So stress is really just the body's reaction to any change that requires adjustments or response. And the body reacts to these changes with physical, mental, and emotional responses. Stress is a normal part of life. You can't get away from it. We know that there are some people who can have the littlest bit of stress and they freak out, right? And then we know others who have a whole bunch of stress that come their way, but they seem to be managing really well. So you can experience stress from the environment around you, your own body, and your own thoughts. So this is where I want us to think we have to be our best friend and do what's best for us. And that sometimes the threat, the event, or change are commonly called stressors, right? Stress, as I mentioned, can be internal. So it can be things that are happening in here, but maybe not in our reality. So we also sometimes stress out about things that we have absolutely no control over. And I like to say that's wasted energy, right? If you can't do anything about it, why are we stressing about it? We need to save our energy. Now, 80% of all modern diseases have their roots in stress. Things like cardiovascular disease, immune system disease, asthma, diabetes, digestive disorders, ulcers, skin complaints like psoriasis, headaches and migraines, premenstrual symptom, depression, like all of those things have roots in stress. None of these things that we want, but sometimes we, not even knowingly, are bringing about these things because of what we're doing and perceiving the things around us. Actually, dementia is even in there. They say sometimes we can stress out too much that our brain's not working to its full capacity. So let's look at how we can manage stress, right? In order to begin to manage stress, we need to recognize and admit that we're feeling stressed, right, and anxious. And sometimes we all know we show it in different ways. And so I think it's a really good idea for you to understand and recognize when you are stressed out. And remember, if you're the one who's causing the most stress to yourself, it's up to you to recognize when you are feeling stressed. So I want you to learn about how stress affects your body. Are you the kind of person that sweats or get stomach aches or headaches or tension in your shoulders or neck? Recognize when those things are coming. Those are actual sort of warning signs that you got to slow down and not take so much on. Notice when you're stressed and don't ignore it, right? Don't keep piling more things on to yourself and causing yourself more stress. Find out what's causing that stress and what it might be telling you. Remember, there's sometimes you're in stressful situations that you can't ignore, you have to be in, right? Sometimes it's even people. Certain people may cause you stress, and it might be a family member, right? And you can't totally get yourself away from that family member, but you can maybe minimize the times that you're around. And you don't have control over another person, but you have control over how you interact with that person. Change your thinking, right? Give yourself a different perspective, and that can make a huge difference. Sometimes you might have to change your behavior. You know, if it is that person that is, you know, causing you stress, and maybe you're the kind of person who says, well, I'm not going to let them just walk all over me. I'm going to, well, maybe getting in that argument isn't the best thing for you. And so you have to sometimes step out of the environment in the situation and think, what is best for me? And how maybe if I don't engage, it's going to be better for me in the long run. Maybe you have to change your lifestyle. But today we're going to talk about how maybe introducing a little more laughter into your life might be the answer. So looking at therapeutic laughter and sort of where things came to be and how laughter yoga came to be, and is laughter really the best medicine? There are a lot of different individuals that have contributed to the history of modern therapeutic laughter. And I'm only sort of scratching the surface in today's presentation. I'm sure that we could probably write a great big book on everybody who's contributed to this topic. But the first person I want to talk about is Norman Cousins. He was a writer, and in 1979, he published a book that was called Anatomy of an Illness, A Patient's Perspective. And in this book, he described a potential fatal disease that he contracted in 1964, and his discovery of the benefits of humor and laughter and other positive emotions in battling what he was going through. And he found, for example, that 10 minutes of mirthful laughter gave him 2 hours of pain-free sleep, which was huge for him, right? His story actually baffled the scientific community and inspired a number of different research projects. Mirthful laughter is the scientific term for that authentic laughter that's deep within your belly, right? That good belly laughter. And I'm sure that you all have had experiences where you've laughed so much where maybe your stomach hurts and your face hurts, and it's all from that deep within your belly. Next was Dr. William Fry, and he began to examine the psychological effects of laughter in the late 1960s. And he's kind of considered as the father of the science of laughter. He demonstrated that most of the body's major physiological systems are stimulated by that mirthful laughter. One of his studies confirmed that 20 seconds of intense laughter doubled the heart rate for 3 to 5 minutes. Dr. Fry proved that mirthful laughter provides good physical exercise and can decrease your chances of respiratory infections. And he also showed that laughter causes your body to produce endorphins, which are natural painkillers. So if you are experiencing pain and you can laugh, you can get some of that pain-free times by laughing. Next, we're going to look at Dr. Lee Burke. He was an associate professor at the Loma Linda University in California, and he's one of those that who was inspired by Cousin's story. And he had a team of researchers from the field of psychoneuroimmunology, and he studied the physical impact of that mirthful laughter. So basically, this study concluded that humor and laughter stresses or lessens arrhythmias. It lowers blood pressure. It also lowers levels of stress hormones. And people required lower doses of medication after laughing. His team continued to study that mirthful laughter. And according to Dr. Lee Burke, who has spent nearly 3 decades studying the ways the aftershocks of good laugh ripple through not only your body, but your brain. He says that laughter shuts down the stress hormones like cortisol, and it triggers the production of these feel-good neurochemicals. Next, you might recognize this man, Dr. Hunter Patch Adams. He was actually immortalized in a film by Robin Williams, who played Patch Adams. And it inspired millions of people of bringing laughter and fun back into the hospital world and putting that into practice. He found that healing should be a loving human interchange, not a business transaction. He is the founder and director of the Gesundheit Institute, which is a holistic medical community that has been providing free medical care to thousands of patients since 1971. He's a catalyst for the creation of thousands of therapeutic care clowns worldwide. Next gentleman I want to mention is huge because he's the one who founded Laughter Yoga, Dr. Madame Kateria. In March 1995, this doctor from India was writing an article that was called "Laughter is the Best Medicine." And he was writing this for a health journal. And in his research, he discovered many of the research that we just sort of touched the surface on. And he was really inspired by a lot of the research that he found. He was a medical doctor who found that he was prescribing a lot of medications to people and said, like, what kind of life is this? There's got to be something else. And so he made it his mission to kind of put things into practice to see if laughter actually was the best medicine. So he took a handful of people on March 13th, 1995, and he brought them to a public park in his neighborhood in India, and he launched his first laughter club. These 5 founding members laughed together in the park that day, and they actually amused a lot of bystanders that were wondering what the heck was going on. But this small group ended up growing into 50 participants before you knew it. And so within that few days, they have 50 participants that only started with 5. And it might have been that people were telling jokes and people were laughing along. But what was happening was, after time went on, this club sort of hit a snag. And the jokes, maybe people weren't getting, they had different sort of senses of humor. Maybe they had heard the joke, so it wasn't as funny. And so there were people that started getting offended by some jokes as well. And so they were going to start not coming to the group. They loved laughing and found that it made them feel good, but sometimes they weren't getting everything out of the group. And so Dr. Kateria got a little bit worried. And like most men who have a problem, the first person they go to is their wife. And so that's what he did. And his wife was a yoga instructor. And so she listened to his concerns. He's like, I really think I'm onto something. I know how good people feel after laughing, but they're not going to come to my group because of the jokes and things. And she said, you're onto something, but I think you got to link it with the positivity of good breath and breathing and getting toxic airs out. She was a yoga instructor, so that was sort of her passion. And so together, she's talking about the good breathing, and he's worried about this group. And all of a sudden he had like his aha moment. And he said, the sun has no reason to shine. Water has no reason to flow. Why do we need a reason to laugh? And so this is where he developed 40 fundamental laughter yoga exercises, laughing for no reason at all, right? You don't need humor to laugh. The interesting thing when you look at research, the brain doesn't know the difference between real or simulated laughter. It still gets the benefits. So even if you're faking your laughter, your body is producing those endorphins, you're feeling good, even though you had nothing funny to laugh at. So it does feel weird at first, but you feel good. And then it's like you want to do it more because you feel good. So he produced those 40 fundamental exercises and then made it his mission to bring laughter yoga around the world. And we'll get into a little bit of how a laughter yoga group looks and what happens. And I'll show you a couple exercises. Next is Dr. Otto Warburg. Long before Dr. Burke showed that strong connection between oxygen in the cells to good health, Dr. Warburg said we fall sick due to lack of oxygen in our body cells. That lack of oxygen is due to poor breathing habits, usually caused by stress and negative mindset. This causes us to be shallow breathers. We sometimes only sort of use the top part of our lungs and not our full lung capacity. And so deep breathing techniques, which increase oxygen to the cell, are the most important factors in living a disease-free and energetic life. Why don't we just for a second take one deep breath in and let it out slowly. I think whenever we're stressed, we have to remember that that tool is always within us, right? Take one step back from your situation, take a good few deep breaths in and out, and you may change the way you feel. It's interesting. So we talked about a little bit about that. What happens when you laugh, what happens? There's these endorphins that run through your body and make you feel better. I like to call, they're the natural painkillers. Now, the thing about what we do, I want to make sure I'm sharing my sound here because the next slide I have is a little video. Now, the thing about us and our sort of the society that we're living in right now is that we kind of take things a little too seriously, right? When we find that kids laugh a lot, oh, it would be nice if my slide advanced, they laugh a lot more readily than we do as adults. I want to see, this is a very, very short video. I want to see if I play this video, if there's anyone in the group that doesn't laugh. And then if they don't, then anyway, I'm going to play this and see how quickly you will laugh.
She just loves it.
Okay, I don't know about you, but it gets me every time. I watch that video millions of times and I still laugh every time I watch it. I think there is a beauty in just laughing for, like, she's laughing at a dog eating popcorn. It's nothing, right? The innocence of children, just laughing when they feel like laughing. It's funny when you look at how often an adult laughs compared to a child. A child laughs like at least something like 250 times a day, where we're lucky if it's like 12 to 20 times per day. That shows us that maybe we're just a little too serious and we need to maybe laugh just a little bit more. So was there anyone in the group that didn't laugh? Or at least get a smile on their face? Because if not, I think you might want to check out laughter yoga and make that a practice. Because you know what, one time I had on my cell phone, it was babies laughing was my ringtone. It always made me feel good because when my phone rang, then I started with the hello, almost laughing, right? I was always in a good mood when I heard babies laughing. So the best kind of laughter, laughing so hard that your laughter becomes silent. You heard the baby and there was that time where she's just getting in her breath, right? And feeling that your stomach muscles are working, right? The thing about laughing is that you don't feel like it's an exercise, but it really can be. And laughter yoga is an exercise. So even when someone starts, we say, you might want to just check with your doctor just to make sure that you're going to be okay. So research supports that laughter elevates your mood. It has many health benefits. It also helps in business life, making sure and connecting with other people. It also can help in your social life. Everyone likes to be around a person that is happy and laughs. And it is good. We know that it's easy to laugh when you're happy, but what we also know is that it is really good to laugh when you're facing challenges in your life as well. So that mirthful laughter is the whole brain experience. The gamma waves frequency reached through this type of laughter is quite similar to meditation, but it holds it there. And Dr. Burke called this being in the zone. So we're gonna maybe put it into practice and see if we can get into that zone. So it's a benefits of humor and laughter. It's an excellent stress reducer. It can nurture optimism, reduce anxiety, fear, and anger. It helps to exercise our chest muscles and our lungs. It also can help to control pain, which we spoke about. It can lower and balance your blood pressures and your blood sugars. It improves your mood. It improves your memory. It promotes an overall sense of well-being and increased self-esteem. It can boost your immunity. It can help you sleep. So why aren't we laughing more, right? If it does all these things, why aren't we laughing more? Now, humor is that which is intended to induce laughter or amusement. But the thing about humor is it can be quite subjective. I might agree with that, but David might not. It's also unreliable. You know, you might make someone smile or laugh, but it might not make the next one. And it sometimes it requires intellectual thought. Right? You have to know what the hokey pokey is to understand that joke, right? So laughter yoga is an exercise, right? It actually is. It doesn't feel like it when you're doing it, but it actually is an exercise. It's that unconditional laughter with some yoga breathing. So the thing about laughter yoga, sometimes people get scared because they're like, well, I'm not into, stretching and putting, getting in these poses and all of that. Know that the yoga part of laughter yoga is really about that breathing, getting good air in and breathing the toxic air out. And there is eye contact. So in doing a laughter group, it's about connecting with the other people that are in the group. And we do that through eye contact. And also tapping into that childlike playfulness, right? Because we become such serious human beings, we need to kind of remember what it was like when we were children and laugh for like no reason at all. So there are 4 steps to a laughter yoga group. The first, there are a lot of clapping and warm-up exercises. So their palm to palm stimulates these acupressure points in your hands. They can also increase energy levels, and they do it with making the sounds of laughter. And I'm just noticing that this is not my email. This is Susan's email, and she's a laughter yoga leader. So her and I use this presentation, and I, for some reason, didn't take that off of, so I apologize for that. But what happens when they start a laughter yoga group is you're going to do a lot of clapping exercises using the sounds of laughter. So ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, 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 ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. So there's a lot of moving around in the group. It's not about being in a circle and staying in that circle. It's moving around, connecting with the other people that are in the group. Now we're doing a laughter yoga group online, and I'll give you information about that. It's a little bit different online, but you're still laughing and still getting the benefits of laughter. The other thing about laughter is that anyone can do it, of any ability. Here, our office is at the Brantwood Center, and prior to COVID, I was doing a group on Mondays, because who likes Mondays? So it was a Monday morning group where we laughed together, and it was some of our clients and caregivers along with clients from Brantwood. And what I had to do was maybe adjust the group a little bit. Maybe it didn't have all of the points of a laughter yoga group, but what I found was you can be of any ability and still laugh. And so it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So the second step is those deep breathing exercises. The maximum amount of air that both lungs can accommodate, right, including the residual volume, for the average adult is about 5 liters. So you want to, sometimes people think that when they take a deep breath in, they suck their belly in. It's actually the opposite. It's more like filling up the balloon and then releasing the balloon. So fill it up, that belly should fill and go out. And then when you're releasing the air, it's sucking it in. So sometimes we do this, right? But that's only using the top part of your lungs, right? So it takes some adjusting, because you probably have had years of just using the top part of your lungs. When you breathe in, think of filling up that balloon, and then breathing out is releasing the air from the balloon. Step number 3 is tapping into that childlike playfulness. It gives yourself permission to laugh and have fun with others that get that laughter is good for you, right? So this might be, and you'll find, and I'll kind of show you these laughter yoga exercises, the leader will sort of demonstrate and everyone kind of follows along, but they get to put their own spin on it. So it's not this cookie cutter mold. It's more like, here's what we're going to do next. And you play around with it and do what's right for you and tap into being that child again. So any of the 40 fundamental exercises, they are value-based. They also have that breathing in it. And we sort of have some prompts. So sometimes in a laughter yoga group, we talked about starting with the warm-ups. Usually then we will do things like handshakes, right? It's like welcoming everyone in the group. So in the Western world, it's the handshake or the wave. Now, handshaking isn't laughing. So we just do it with laughing. So it would be like, right? And then we also look at the Eastern way of welcoming someone, which is more like the namaste. And so we would have that eye contact with others in our group and we would laugh as we do it. So and then what happens with any of these exercises? To get into the next exercise, the leader would do something like, very good, yay. Very good, yay. Very good, yay. And when they do that, everybody follows along and they know that the next exercise is coming. And then the leader would say, okay, well, we're going to do milkshake laughter next, right? And milkshake laughter is you pretend you got one cup here and you got another cup here and you're going to make a milkshake. But while you're doing it, you're going to laugh while you're doing it. So it's, right? And then it might be that you think you want to spill your milkshake on your partner. And so you're making your milkshake, you're laughing while you're doing it, and you throw it at them and you laugh about it, right? So it's all just about having fun and getting out of that stressful mind, your everyday sort of stuff. It's about relaxing and enjoying, right? Laughing for no reason at all is a bit of a tough concept for some people. And it may take a few sessions to really find your laughter. Here are some tips to help you get the most out of your laughter yoga experience and discover the mind-body connection with that mirthful laughter. First, relax, right? Don't get too caught up in your head. Let it go, right? Know you're there to have a good time and feel good. Laugh with people, not at them. Now, just because nobody in the group is funny, but sometimes somebody's laugh might make you laugh, right? Like that baby laughing makes me laugh every single time, right? So we know that sometimes it can help set you off in laughter, which is a good thing, but you're not laughing at people. We're not making fun of people. You also want to prolong that exhalation, right? Getting that bad air out that's sort of trapped in your lungs and the deep part of your lungs. You want to make sure you're getting that up. And you keep your chin up, right? We're having a good time while we do it. Keep that chin up. Also, you want to make sure that you're spreading your arms out and opening your mouth. You're doing everything to sort of keep the body moving, right? So getting that good air in's helping your cells, but also moving around as much as you can, right? What you're able to do, you should. Right? Don't overthink things. That's what we tend to be so much in our logical brain. We need to sometimes get out of that logical brain and get more into the creative, let it go, just be and enjoy. Don't stress about those daily stresses, right? Those daily life stresses are always going to be there. Use your laughter yoga experience to get away from it. Think of it as a vacation away from your everyday. Another thing you might want to do is practice silent laughter. So even just making the, right, feeling that, you're still getting the benefits. You're not bothering anyone. I know my coworker, Susan, who's the laughter yoga teacher, she would practice while she was driving to work. She would practice some of the exercises that she could while she was driving. And she said, I got to the point where at first I thought I cared about what the person, driving beside me thought. And then I no, and then she said, if I was really worried about it, I did silent laughter, I still felt good. So know that that's always there. We can either live by design or default. So humor is that design and stress is by default, right? So I'm going to let you know about laughter yoga group that we do. But before I do that, I want to show you my most favorite exercise. There's so many, there's at least 40, right? And then we sometimes even add our own. But my favorite laughter yoga exercise is cell phone laughter. So and this is a great one if you're ever in the airport and there's a bunch of people around and you just want to pass some time. This is a great one. So you pick up your cell phone. Now the person on your cell phone is telling you the funniest thing you've ever heard. Now, if they're telling you the funniest thing you've ever heard, you better be laughing at it, right? Get what I mean? I like it. So just because I have you here, so that's just a little sort of scratch the surface about what laughter yoga is and how it came to be. And I hope that you got something out of that. Just so you know, the Alzheimer's Society is here in your community. If you ever need us for anything, we're really just a phone call away. We do a lot of different support and counseling, also education and health and wellness programs. Our core services are at no cost to persons living with dementia or our caregivers. We try to do everything we can at no cost so that they get the support that they need. So education, support, wellness, health and wellness programs, and we also have many volunteer programs as well. If you need us, here is we do have a 1-888 number. Our organization actually looks after Haldeman, Norfolk, Brant, and Hamilton and Halton. I'm going to leave you with a few laughter yoga or some laughter quotes. A good time to laugh is any time that you can. I totally agree with that. And laughter is an instant vacation. Molten Burl knew what he was talking about. And laughter gives us distance. It allows us to step back from an event, deal with it, and then move on. Sounds pretty good, Bob. He knew what he was talking about too. A man isn't poor if he can still laugh. And the quote there, they've said this to be Dr. Seuss or Patch Adams. I think it's probably more Patch Adams, but I like nonsense. It wakes up the brain cells, and it really does. And so through COVID, we started a laughter group. It happens on Thursdays at 10 a.m. I will show you a kind of quick way that you can kind of see to it, and I'll make sure that Linda gets the link so that anyone that is interested in checking it out can. We made a microsite, so a smaller website through COVID, and this is kind of what it looks like on the home page. You can get there at home.alzhn.ca. So you would get a page that looks like this, and you can go to education if you wanted education. You can go to activities if you want activities, fitness, and support. Go to the activities at home. When you click on there, you'll see our calendar of events, and it is Susan Cumming that does our laughter group on Thursdays at 10. It has a registration link there, so you could just click on the link. She will give you approval and make sure that she gets your consent for the group, and then you'll be set to go. Thank you so much for having me today. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, and if you have any questions, I'm here to help.